So, section 3.3, we're going to talk all about the cell membrane. And the cell membrane is a barrier that separates the cell from its external environment. So this is going to do all kinds of good things, like protect the cell. It's composed of two phospholipid bilayers. So it's going to contain a phosphate in the head, a phosphate head, and a lipid tail. So it has two major functions. This is kind of what an artist drawing of it looks like. You see this kind of drawing when you're talking about cell membrane quite a bit. That's what it looks like. It's going to form a boundary between inside and outside of the cell. And it's going to control the passage of materials. So it's the security guard in your cell. It makes a boundary between the inside and outside of the cell, but it's also going to say who can come in and who cannot. Again, it's composed of two phospholipid bilayers. The cell membrane is made of a phospholipid bilayer. We've already said that. There are other molecules embedded in the membrane as well. You can see that here in this picture. This is showing the cell membrane. This is the phosphate head. These little parts that dangle are the lipid tails. And then this is a bilayer, so there's two. These ones, the head with the tail, and then down here is the head and the tail. So again, this is the cell membrane. This is a carbohydrate chain that's being shown here. There's some proteins in here. This is a, let me try to make the screen a little bit bigger here. It's cutting that off. There we go. So this is the protein channel. This is a channel made out of protein that's going to allow passage in and out. Here's another protein that's embedded in that bilayer. The fluid mosaic model describes the membrane. So when somebody talks about the fluid mosaic model, this is all they're talking about. Don't get hung up on the vocabulary and think, oh my goodness, what does that mean? It just means this phospholipid bilayer picture that you're looking at here. The cell membrane is selectively permeable. So that means some things it's going to let in and out, and some things it's just not. So some molecules can cross the membrane while other ones can't. So in this particular picture, this is our bilayer. There's a phosphate head, lipid tail, phosphate head, lipid tails. This blue section on the left is showing what's outside of the cell. This pink section is what is inside the cell. And as you can see in this particular model, whatever these blue blobs are, the cell membrane's allowing through, but whatever that like oranger kind of oval shaped material is, it's not letting through. Chemical signals are transmitted across the cell membrane. So chemical signals are going to be allowed across. Receptors are going to bind with ligands and change shape. It's going to make more sense when we see a picture of it. There are two types of receptors. There are the intercellular receptor, so it's going to let things move. This is the ligand. It's moving across the bilayer into the inside of the cell, and it's attached to this receptor here. There are also membrane receptors, and in this particular case, the ligand is connecting with the membrane receptor to get across the cell membrane. That was faster than I realized. So let's do that again. So here, the ligand, the thing that's trying to come across, this ligand, is going across using a receptor. Okay, an intracellular receptor, rather. It can also move across using a membrane receptor, which is going to go from here into the membrane receptor itself and through. All right, that one was quick.